Oh, he's back again. You want to hear how I pray, or how I don't pray. It's like just constant conversation with God. Here comes the wind now. um, Thank you. Thank you for invading this space that I thought was mine. I don't know how it is that I ever lived in here. Well, I know how it was. The only way I could fit, and you could at the same time, is if I decided I couldn't be anymore. And I thank you for that. I hope when they see me, they see you. And hopefully they appreciate my entertaining approach to a miserable, hateful, destructive, vengeful. Yeah, you know how you are, Dad. So, but we can set it straight. Hey, you know, I made this. Isn't that cool? It's amazing. You you put these little sticks in the ground, and then all of a sudden they get these little fingers going out everywhere. And then the next thing you know, ta-da, you got plant going everywhere. And then you wind up with grapes, and then you smush those up, and there you go. Poison. Mm. Oh my. I'm shocked. Uh, this is like one of those I can't believe I made this moments. Wow. You know what it is? Because I've been drinking that natty daddy junk. Poisoning the earth. Hey, here's to you. Are you having a good time yet? I hope so. If you're driving, get some beer and then pull over. If that's your thing. But don't if you don't, because I wouldn't want to encourage anybody to, jump outside their own box. But yeah, wow, that was weird. I had like 22 people on there, and then the wind gave a big, and then all of a sudden we're down to 10, like perfection or something. Got rid of 12 to do that though. Isn't that weird? Now we're down to 5. That was the number of grace. It's like all these God numbers. I love it. He's everywhere. Mm. Wow. Mm. And it's got the ABV too. This is why I drink beer instead of wine. Um, I don't know. Maybe I should get a wine can, or I could drink right out of the jug. Because you make them. I make them in. If you've seen me make wine, it's in a jug. I've actually had people yell at me. You shouldn't be teaching people how to make wine. It's like, are you kidding me? At least I'm one of the people that'll tell them how to make it where, there's no need to add lighter fluid to it, okay? Don't break off all the match heads and then grind them up in there and, and then dry it out in your bathtub. No, no. None of that stuff, okay? That's like Breaking Bad. That's, trouble. But Anyway, I was there's a verse. I heard you. There's a verse that I remember that I kind of sticks in my head, and it's about woe to you who poison the earth, right? So if I look at poison, um, wow, it's in a few different places. I got it in James, Mark, Amos. Oh yeah, we picked a good word. So hey, let's go for the middle of the book. We'll take out Job and then Psalms. Well, we'll do Psalms first. Psalms and especially Proverbs. Proverbs are good to read. There's a reason why there's 31 of them. You should be reading one book of Proverbs every day. That's what they're there for. Um, and then like Psalms were just they come in different sections, right? Some of them are for praise, some of them are for traveling along. There's one where you can actually learn the Hebrew alphabet, right? But and that's a psalm that I want to look at because it'd be pretty cool to see if each letter is spoken of. Like, does it tell a story about each letter, or does it just start with each letter? I would not be surprised at all if in some way, shape, or form they could take each letter and do something with it, right? Like just today, I found out that when the uh, you I you have to have heard this Bible verse that says, "Do not muzzle the ox while he's treading out the grain." Right? It's like, what does that mean? Well, I figured it out today because I was watching somebody who was talking about the aleph and the tav, and the aleph in the Paleo Hebrew, it looks like a like an ox's head, right? That's the aleph. And then the tav is the very last letter in the Hebrew alphabet. I guess in the Paleo it looked like a cross, but it's my understanding it looks more like, kind of like an X if you had to make one quick. And so, and the meaning of the, it's funny because when they're put together, they mean created. Okay. So the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet and the last letter literally says created, but now bust that word into its chunks. Remember, always with me, cut the baby in half. It's how you learn. Well, if you look at the aleph, that's the ox, and then the tav is truth. It's like a covenant or a mark, or even like a seal, like God saying, "I did this. I used Hebrew. I used my language, my tongue. Doom, 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 on through." Right? Jesus calls it the bread of life. This right here, and then tying that other verse through, should maybe open up some of them things in Revelation. Remember? Two are working at the mill, one is taken, and one is not. Almost spit a piece of lettuce onto the screen. Stuck in my tooth. Yeah, the rabbit actually eats cabbage. But I was thinking about that, the poisoning of the earth. And it says, "Woe to you who poison the earth." And it's like you and I are earth. So to poison the earth, from me to you, would be for like to me to give you something bad or wrong, hurtful. Uh, yeah, anything like that, right? And so then that made me think about Paul. They said he could drink poison and like it wouldn't affect him. Well, guess what? Was he actually drinking poison, or was it a way of describing how he could explain God's word? I mean, the guy was instructed by Gamaliel, for crying out loud, right? And if there's anything to me that speaks of the reality that Gamaliel is mentioned in the New Testament, it's the fact of exactly what he is said to have said. um, and that is when they want to go after the apostles, or the disciples rather. He says, "I say you do nothing to these men, because if it is of man, it'll fail. But if it is of God, there's nothing you'll be able to do to stop it." And it's kind of funny because it's really weird how they tried to squash Jesus. And it's like, boy, he was if he was supposed to be an insult, he was the biggest, juiciest tomato ever been thrown into the pile, man. Splat! And you can't get rid of it. Everything's got the mark. It's just wonderful. But anyway, so, and what's interesting is look at this. I think Jesus actually says this. Doesn't he say that? They gave me poison for food and for thirst. Yeah. Yeah. Now think about that. This is, we see this as a literal sense, like somebody giving me, vinegar to drink, right? When I'm dying, I need something to drink, and this person's like giving me vinegar. But still, it fits, right? Um, it goes beyond that. Spiritually, that would be somebody telling you false teachings that lead you astray, right? And so then you just got to test the spirit. Who are you? You know, should people see our Father in heaven when they see you, or are they going to see what, right? Only you know that. So Job, now Job 6:4. Why? All these things. See, I see when I see 69:21 for the Psalms, I think of 15 and 3. Because 6 and 9 is how you make a 15, a legal 15. You can't make a Yod Hey 15 without upsetting people. It's a special letters. But it's almost like it's 15 and 3, 153. And then that starts leading me to all kinds of verses like Exodus 15:3, where, Moses says, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. So Moses calls the Lord a man. Kind of interesting. Could happen. But in the book of Job, it says, for the arrows of the Almighty are in me. Now think of that. I'm going to show you a mirror. Okay? This is a dirty mirror trick, right? For the arrows of the Almighty are in me. Wouldn't it be better that they be in me than come out of me? Because they are in you too, right? My spirit drinks their poison. Well, if they're coming out of you, that's like what? Being drunk. That's like pride. The terrors of God are arrayed against me. Well, if that's the kind of person you are, yes. Terrors of God would be arrayed against you, wouldn't they? Does a wild donkey bray as he has grass? Or the ox low over his fodder? I don't even know what those mean. Can that which is tasteless be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the juice of the mallow? And we call that egg white, right? And the juice of the mallow, that's weird. That was my dog. I got a dog. We call him Mallow Dog for Marshmallow. He's the best dog ever, man. Boy, he is like maybe 1.5 pounds of you don't mess with him. My appetite refuses to touch them. And think of that. My appetite why would it say that? It says all this stuff, and then my appetite refuses to touch them. And you're thinking because it's tasteless and all of that. But what if it's not about that? What if it's about those arrows, right? They are as food that is loathsome to me. So if I'm thinking that them arrows are bad, the Lord's against me, he's trying to beat me up, man, they're just bad any way you look at them, right? If they're in me, he's against me. If they're coming out of me, I'm doing worse. I got blood on my hands. So it's like you can also spin those into make them positive, right? Everything always can be positive, right? And look at that. If I just back up a couple verses, for then it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore, my words have been rash. Can you see that? So when Paul survived poison, that could be people like attacking him. See, I see the New Jerusalem as that was Jesus. When Jesus came down, the New Jerusalem, okay? Jerusalem means teaching of peace, the word. And guess what? When your enemies surround Jerusalem, as it's written, that's like you going to battle saying, bring it. And that's why I do this channel like I do. And nobody steps up. Where the hell are these people? How many years of 5 years of like taunting doctors and whoever? What do they think? Are they afraid of embarrassing me? What, with their knowledge? They don't understand the spirit part of this, man. And they're misleading everybody with all their soapboxes and promises. Wow, man. Jesus said anytime will do, okay? Take him and don't make him a liar. Don't make any of them liars. Paul, whoever. The Jews should be so happy that Paul existed because he does their job for them. Do you know that? Paul does the job of the Jews for what they should be doing now is to connect everybody to the scriptures and not to get us to read Torah and all that stuff. I'm going to tell you something. I can show you a God that you can't escape. And it's simple. It's math. It's simple. If God is everything and you cut it in half, what do you got? Good and evil. And they come from that place and all of the stuff that we're told to do and yeah, blah, and we just blow it off. And I don't know. My lawn is not going to mow itself no matter how hard I sit and look at it. You know, that grass withering away and all that. I don't know. It must be bullshit. It's like, we are pathetic, man. We are pathetic. Anyway. And that's about it. Anyway will do. If Jesus came today, he would say, I wish you were hot or cold, but oh well. It is time. Oh man, I want to shave my beard off just so I can take a normal sip without like pouring it in my gullet through a freaking skunk, It's bullshit. If I wouldn't have made this promise a long time, this beard would be so gone. You wouldn't even recognize me there. But you would, like so. Hi, it's me. Oh yeah. Oh, I just I'll see you in about a year or so. I wanted to have a glass of wine, so I shaved my face off. How many of you expect me to come back like, remember those guys? Where art thou? That was funnier than shit, wasn't it? I am a man of constant sorrow. I could really belt it out, and you have to do that. A lot of people don't realize when you sing, you gotta, you gotta get it in there, right? I just think the neighborhood might get upset with me, oh, solemnly, oh, pow. I mean, we're talking shake the rafters kind of stuff. Holy moly, what did I put in here? Man, this is like awesome. Wow. Thank you. You know what's funny? All I did was grab all the grapes, do all the stuff, clean everything, blah, blah, and then guess what? You want to know who took care of the rest? Him. Be still, and I will fight for you. I didn't have to do nothing. I just had to be patient and wait while he did what only can be done through time, right? It's like all those talking about like sour grapes and things like that, the sour grapes set the children's teeth on edge, right? We just don't get it. Could you imagine, if you were a nursing mother and had a kid chewing on you, then you would get it. And so that's referring to like the mother's milk from the Torah. There's one spot. As soon as I found it, I laughed so hard now. I can't help it. I laugh because it says, goes through this long list of commands and things, right? You know, don't do this, don't, and it's all real. Okay, I get it. And then all of a sudden it just throws in at the last moment out of the middle of nowhere, and don't boil the baby in the mother's milk. And it's like, what? And so now, the people that are Orthodox Jews, they won't drink milk and have a hamburger. That's like doing something wrong. I'm like, wow, man, I can't even imagine not having like a meatball sub and a glass of milk. Man, there's something about that. But yeah, so that was Job 6:4 for that poison. Let's see. And remember, again, this is all about woe to you who poison the earth, right? As to say, uh, what kind of teachings are going out, right? Because you are the earth that's being poisoned. If somebody tells you something, and gets it inside of you or whatever, that now becomes a defiling spirit. If it's something that you believe that's not true, and it's dangerous, right? I mean, look at what happened to these people that drank all that Kool-Aid in where I can't remember what that was, Heaven's Gate or something. I think it was. Like this guy had convinced all these people, okay, God's coming, and we got to knock ourselves off. It's like, are you out of your freaking mind? I don't know, man. I think you'd be safer to like pick up your 6-pack and follow me, or anything. That was like a tragedy, right? But I don't know. Where did those people go? Right? I'm just saying that I'm not in like some kind of a giant hurry, right? You can go slow. Take your time. It's no big deal. Everybody's going to get there. Now, oh, look at this. Ooh, the venom of cobras. Oh, wow, this is good. I love the book of Job. I taught it at my, I almost said my high school, at my church that I can't go to anymore. It's going to be a good reunion someday. You know that? Ultimately. Damn, right now that guy's a dick. I need a sex change. I need to add a dick to me. What's that? Oh, his name's Simon Peter. What's wrong? Oh, he's denying that I'm on his team. It's bullshit. God, this guy's from a Pentecostal church, a background, for Christ's sake. Really, literally, for Christ's sake. And you only find me say that when it is for Christ's sake. Because everything is, actually. Damn it. All right. His children will seek to favor the poor, and his hands will give back his wealth. His bones are full of his youthful vigor, but it will lie down with him in the dust. You know what that means? You had better talk to somebody before they're gone, okay? Though evil is sweet in his mouth, and this is almost like a just because, though he hides it under his tongue, right? Speaking kindly, but not. though he is loath to let it go. Oh, yeah, you don't want to let anybody know, right? He holds it in his mouth, yet his food is turned in his stomach. It is the venom of cobras within him. He swallows down riches and vomits them up again every Sunday, over and over, the same exact thing. Let's kill a man. I don't subscribe to that anymore. We did a very bad thing. He will suck the poison out. He will suck the poison of cobras. The tongue of a viper will kill him. He will not look upon the rivers. Wow. See, and this is huge. What does this mean? He will not look upon the rivers. Okay. There are two rivers going. All right. The Nile, okay, that went through Egypt means the river, the two rivers. Okay. And there's something special symbolically about Egypt, even if it never happened. Okay. It almost doesn't matter whether it happened or not. It's so etched in time that the garment, like the what God wove and made, okay, not woven like woven made, but wove and made, the like the landscape, right? This place will fade away, right? I mean, right now we're digging in the ground trying to find stuff. All that will fade away, and eventually it's going to be all 100% spirit for us, right? We can dig up and try and preserve all we want. Because of it crumbling in the way it does, we got so many misinterpretations on thing right now. It's like, it's like when you gotta go somewhere, fix the direction you're going, like as if a lighthouse, right? And if you see love there, go there, right? Or if that's whatever that direction is, and don't be drifting, right? And damn, it's like terrible what we did to the guy. He will suck the poison of cobras. The tongue of the viper will kill him. And it's like, and you think that that means, and remember, it's however you judge, it comes back on you. So it's, he will not look upon the rivers, the streams flowing with honey and curds. And this is like, because he doesn't see it that way, right? This could be like somebody who thinks that God is evil. Why would he use that guy? Tax collector? Who's this Jesus? Who's this son of man? Right? Every skeptics all the time. And that's going to be our doom. For he will give back the fruit of his toil. Oh, perfect. And will not swallow it down. From the profit of his trading, he will gain no enjoyment. I don't know, man. I think I could make him pretty happy. For he has crushed and abandoned the poor. He has seized a house. Oh, he has seized a house that he did not build. Oh my God, I was talking all about him, and it says that. That prophecy is fulfilled. He has seized a house that he did not build. I built that house with my money, and I paid 2 times as much as any other person would have. On purpose. Because I trust, if somebody tells me just do the things of God, it's like, forget it, man. I don't see nothing. You're not going to see me, I need to stone that woman. It's like, get a clue. Get a clue. Because he knew no contentment in his belly. And that's your gut. You know what is being referred to there? Literally, that's referring to your instinct. When Jesus says your God is your belly, that's what it is. You don't trust anybody. Am I hopping around like a rabbi now? Oh, shit, it's getting to me. I'm going to be like, pretty soon, yeah, And I get it. It's like, you feel like that. It's like God is all around you. Help! And there I was hanging over the cliff. And then he's got me, and he's like, I got you, right? And you're like, And then, the worst things that happen at those moments, I realized I forgot to pay my exorcist. You know what happens if you don't pay your exorcist? You get repossessed. Somebody's going to laugh. uh, mm, mm. Okay. So this ain't going to work, obviously, because I said, you know what? I have a glass of wine. And when my wine is gone, well, then I'll, you know, that way I can keep my, if I drink less, I can keep my stream shorter. And what happens? I respect wine. It took time. That took some time. That happened because God was in there somehow, working, doing whatever it is, the things that He does, right? You say science, I find something to smile about. Right? You tell me, who's drunk the poison? Me or you? Right? How's that? Because he knew no contentment in his belly, he let not anything which he delights escape him. And that's weird. It's strange because see how it's saying it from the other side? It's saying, he will not let anything which he delights escape him. Now think about that. What if that person delights in forgiveness? They don't dispense it. See? This is a bad person that's being spoken of here, but that's what that's what all the scriptures are. They chop everything in half. When it starts getting the poetic stuff and the prophecies, oh, it's even more beautiful. There was nothing left after he had eaten, and that's godly. Because who the master that reaps where he hasn't sown. I know you to be a hard man. That's it. There's nothing left. And that's why all those baskets and they pick up all the crumbs and everything. They're talking about the Torah when it's talking about all of those, 3,000 fed, 12 baskets and all that stuff, and how many fish. Okay. Two small fishes, right? Of course. Those are your two witnesses, by the way. There was nothing left after he had eaten. And that's to say, remember how Jesus says you got to eat my flesh and blood? That was a very, there's a lot of symbolism going on there, obviously, right? He's saying you shall not, you have to eat my flesh and blood, but do you realize that in the book of Enoch, that would actually be that would connect him with possibly one of the watchers, one of the giants. Okay. Because that's what they did. They had a covenant of drinking each other's blood and eating each other's flesh. Okay. But I think that ties into that somehow, why he said that, right? In other words, I think the sin of the watchers, instead of doing their job of helping humanity, they sat around literally watching, like people are doing now, waiting for God to show up. We're sorry, we're sinners. We'll just sit here, and that's basically what the watchers were supposed to intercede for man, right? And unless you can see and understand, I wonder if I'm not a watcher, or if maybe you aren't as well. Because weren't they chained in darkness with the dead or something? Right? That's, I don't know. I don't have time to study all this. I'm trying to stop all this mad, grab for power and land, and people are getting tired of it, right? I can't believe what Trump said. I don't know if this is true, but I saw something where Trump, like, he gave him an ultimatum. He's saying, look, man, you're going to get done here, or I'm going to make it done, and you're going to have a two-state solution. It's like, there it is. And and you're going to have people that are. This upsets me because now, because of the way this book is written, I could go through here and I can find good prophecies for this, and I can also find bad prophecies for what's going on, right? It's like there's supposed to be two kingdoms here. And for instance, we attribute it to the house of Israel to be strangers in a strange land, right? Can I tell you something? Do you know what, like, Palestine means? The name of what that means? I'm pretty sure it means immigrant. So wouldn't that, even if Israel owned the whole place, wouldn't that make them strangers in a strange land, oppressed, and so on? I'm telling you, there's mirrors all through this thing, and we don't get it. Uh-oh, we're about to lose power. I hear lots of sirens going off too, and I hear the whistle over there, and there's another one over there. Woo! I'm going to lose power right at the moment of excitement. Happens that way all the time. Yeah, my screen just kind of got black, but I'll keep going. What was the other? Let's see if we can get some more poison up in here. Deuteronomy. There you go. Deuteronomy 32:32. We won't forget this one, will we? Thank you, Pattern. For their vine comes from the vine of Sodom and from the fields of Gomorrah. Don't put Sodom and Gomorrah all in one basket. Look up those two words and see what they mean. Because when you see Sodom and Gomorrah mentioned, it's going to say, give ear, O earth, you rulers of Sodom, and you teachers of Gomorrah, or servants of Gomorrah, or something. And it separates it between those who know and those who don't, the leaders and the crew, and basically saying, hey. And yet together, what happens when you get them together? And I'm pretty sure that they said that what the problem was with Sodom and Gomorrah, it was a problem of hospitality, if you can believe it. And I can see it, okay? Look up them words. Their grapes are grapes of poison, right? Their clusters are bitter. So it's like to say, the stuff that's coming from you is just, it ain't right. Who wants it? Their wine is the poison of serpents and the cruel venom of asps. What is an asp? Is that like is that a scorpion, maybe? An asp? The cruel venom. See, because if it was cruel, I don't know what an asp is, but I'm going to guess it would be a scorpion, only because it says the cruel venom. Because remember how it says it will pierce them but only for 5 months. That's a reference to grace. So the venom of an asp is probably going to be that striking of the heel, because that's what happens. See, grace gets the number 5. If you decide to kick somebody without giving them grace, I guess, that's what the whole thing with Paul was. Stop kicking the goads. Whatever's back there that's evil, it's back there with purpose and reason. Leave it alone. And so, if you kick it, it causes trouble. Opening up the keys of the abyss and all the locusts that come out and tear everything up. We get those keys, each of us. When we decide we don't want to bake a cake for a same-sex couple and start a freaking war over a cake. Guess what you did when you started that war? You baked a cake for one of the queens of heaven, and you don't even know it. And you know what'll happen when Jesus shows up? He'll say, "Away from me, I never knew you." Oh, yeah. We really understand this book, don't we? We're so screwed. Oh, wow, man. I don't want to gulp it. I just want I want to lap at it like a dog. It's so good. Man, this really came out good. I should make my own wine. I already do. Nobody to drink it with that can, hold their own, not get all out of their minds. Sure, I could find somebody to guzzle it down. You've saved the best wine for later. Yeah, but that other shit was natty daddy, okay? I was hoping you'd be drunk and passed out by the time I broke out the good shit. I was trying to get Abraham to fall asleep into a deep sleep, and then I could teach him about the two birds, where I'm on my side going like this, and the other guy's on the other side going like this, and everybody's flipping everybody off and nothing gets done. Yeah, it's bullshit, isn't it? Don't cut the birds in half. Get them on the same team, whichever one they belong to. Those birds were clean and unclean. They were the messengers that went up and down upon the Son of Man. When it says you're to sacrifice your only son, you only got one son. Your Son of Man, that's you. That's yourself. Living sacrifices that keep wanting to crawl off the altar. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. It's like the aftertaste is the best part. I could sit here with an eyedropper and just. Mmm. Mmm. I think I know now what Jesus was talking about when he said, when he returns, will the Son of Man find faith? I think he knew that what was inside of him was spiritually based, and that when it was time to return, it was going to be very difficult for somebody to be able to recognize just what the hell they were. And then once like I said, that's what I'm saying. I am like him because I have seen him like he is. I understand what that means now. It's not it's not he's going to show up and then I'm going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. It's like, do you know what kind of a cruel, wicked, vengeful, terrible God we would be serving if it was that easy for him to just say, twinkle, twinkle? Yeah, no, it's kind of not that easy. Our God has a set of rules that he cannot break, because if he did, he couldn't be God. And so the only thing that he can allow is for us to bend them like you cannot believe. Bend, bend, bend. And they never break. Because, when times get bad, look in there. Look in this book and you're going to find all the troubles that you came upon you. They're in there, plagues, whatever. I can't say that you're reading it in the right way, but I recognize it all day long. We're in Ezekiel right now, where it says, your crossroads are empty. You build your temples at every crossroads, and they're all empty. And basically, those passages are just terrible because they're saying you gave everything away without requiring any, I don't know, something to back it up. Basically calling the churches a bunch of whores. Yeah, even a whore gets paid for her services, it says. I mean, this is in the scriptures, and it's like, yeah, that's the Christian church. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry, we can kill somebody and you're saved. Holy moly, man. If they could read these verses like they were. When I first read them, I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, this is us. Or this is us. That's what I said. This is us. This is me. And so now I know what that thing is. I am an unclean man amongst unclean people, and I have seen the face of God. And 100%, man, I get it now. This thing is lasting a long time. I really thought I was going to die quicker. And when this video stream ends, I'll take a short break. We'll switch over to a different device, and there you go. Don't drink the poison, okay? Don't let anybody tell you that your God made you. Well, if they tell you that you're messed up, they're telling you that like God made a mistake or something, okay? Whatever you are, though, you're still under the same rules as the rest of us. Just letting you know that. That's Romans 2:12-14. Check it out for yourself. And everything's covered, from those who know the law all the way down to oblivious, but with somehow a nature and spirit written on their heart that they then follow the law. That's the law we're looking for. Another poison, Amos. Do horses run on rocks? Does one plow there with oxen? But you have turned justice into poison. See, this is great. Do horses run on rocks? It's basically to say, this is saying, those four horses, the spirits that blow around that Jesus talked about. You don't know where you're coming from. That's what this is right here. Do horses run on rocks? That's kicking the goads. Does one plow forward there with oxen? In other words, trampling the grain, right? The people. But you have turned justice into poison and the fruit of righteousness into wormwood. There is your key to revelation. Wormwood striking the earth, you. And we're waiting for what? A freaking rock? Yeah. I don't know all these books, and I haven't studied under all these other people and everything. All this shit's just being dumped on me and in my lap, and I'm trying to get it off me. So I would really appreciate any theologian or pastor or somebody to step up to the damn plate. Maybe you'll be some kind of a hero. Just please. This is very unsettling to me. It's not fair. I would say that for you to put me through this, my God would deserve to destroy you and anybody around you just because. I think that'd be very fair, because I'm trying to help you see what I can obviously see, and you're not helping. So I will, I'm not going to get crazy. No, I will sit at my Lord's right hand until you can kind of lift me up a little bit. Not to rest my feet on footstool, but like help me, help you. I don't know. It's like a footstool where you help me, and then because you're helping me, then I can help you. And then because I've helped you, then I'm helped. And I'm like, done then. You can have it. I'm going to go hide somewhere where nobody's going to find me. You want to know who warned me of such a thing? A rock and roll Hall of Famer called Artemis Pyle. He turned his caravan around to come and have a drink with me. I talked to him behind stage at this gig, and then he saw me ride my motorcycle ahead of his caravan, and I know how to ride, and he's a biker. If you look him up, you'd probably find out all these bad things about him, like he did this and did that, but yeah. we tried to have a drink and he was too popular. And then he said, I have a life too. And he walked away. And I'm like, I can totally understand. It's like, the show must go on, but sorry, it's 9 to 5, man. Some people just need a break. Paparazzi and hammering on people is just nuts. And you know what he said right before he left? He said, "You remind me of somebody I met when I was guarding some prince in Israel." And he said his name was Yeshua ben Yehuda. And I was like, wow, that sounds cool. That was a long time ago before I knew anything. I wrote it down on a coaster for, a beer coaster, Ellicottville Brewery, right? Not where we were. No, that happened right here in town. And yeah, said I reminded him of that guy. And I don't know, man. He's like any other superstar. I can't get an email or a phone call to him. I'd like to say, why, man, we tried to have a drink. Can we hook up now? I tried to contact him on Facebook. I even put some messages on his, he's on MeWe, if you know what that one is. And, man, he never any response or nothing. I don't know. Maybe he's dead. He was pretty damn old, but anyway, I don't know. I'm just surprised, man. This 5% battery is like, this is like 5 is the number of grace. It's like living forever here. I'm kind of like, what the hell? I can see you. Father God, thank you. Thank you for my friends that stopped by. I pray a blessing over them. I ask that you give them just enough, soften their heart so that when they see the evil, they can see that they need to be servants, to see it as opportunity. Because anybody that is doing evil, even though they might not be feeling it, they are being oppressed, they are hurting themselves, they might not even understand. But if that person looks like they're having fun, then to be smart enough to leave them alone until they're ready to need some help. And we thank you. And thank you for your son, Jesus. There you go. You're blessed. Actually, you're cursed now. I always get what I want. I don't know. It's weird. Somebody was saying that, some Christian channel, because we find everything to gripe about. And it was something in the Quran where it was saying that Muhammad said, you should be happy if I curse you, And it's kind of like, it's weird because as a prophet goes, or somebody speaking for God, like if God curses you, dude, that's just straight up Book of Job stuff right there, right? The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. If he's taken away, then I should feel blessed for some reason, right? But it's not easy, right? You don't want your things taken away from you, but sometimes that happens. And I wonder if sometimes it is in the other direction. It isn't that they got taken away from you. You got taken away from them. And that's what you should remember. You are never at a loss if you're with the Lord, provided you're not the grumpy son who's mad about, like the Apostle Paul that went to go feed the pigs. A lot of people don't get that parable. That's the Apostle Paul, the prodigal son, has everything, right? And wants it all now. And then what happens to him? Because he was like trying to force time, kicking the goats instead of letting the Lord work in his time. He wanted what? He wanted the rewards now. And that's what my rewards are. My rewards are the fulfillment of the Torah, like for everybody, that everybody know what it means, understand what Jesus is and was, what he was trying to do, and what we missed, and why we shouldn't have killed him, and why everybody should respect everything he did. Our God he's in control. I know, and you're like, no, he's not. And it's like, well, he doesn't control you that way. He just lays out the rules of what's going to happen to you when you get out of control. So it's almost like the law is just stupid, and then the other parts are just warnings, strive and love. Strive and love. Play your 40s right. You get 3 of them. Those are the perfect tests, right? You're going to go 40 rounds with the Father. You're going to go 40 rounds with the Son. You're going to go 40 rounds with the Spirit. And somehow, some way, you're going to figure things out. But you know what that is? That's 120 times 1,000. And everybody gets that. Spirit's going to strive with us for that long. You're tested. The two fathers, the two sons, and against the Lord, which you can call the two spirits, but there's only one spirit. He just works in two different directions. One direction, he's destroying. The other direction, he's building and making. Simple. Repent, turn around, go the other way. That's one of my favorite. You ever see that movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? That was one of my mother's favorite movies. And I think that she probably wanted to get me out of Christianity because her ghost came back and spoke to people in my family and said different things. Like, she didn't come to me, but she came to lots of other people, different people. Like, she came to my niece and she told my niece, "Don't worry, everything's going to be okay." And then she left, and my niece her door couldn't open because of the rug was there. Well, somebody had pushed the door open, and then she smelled roses. That was my mom's flower thing she liked, right? She liked lilacs too. But that was her favorite movie, and I actually wound up getting an apartment that I could, I can see and read it right there, the depot for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where John Candy was, right there. That's like one of my favorite parts of that movie, though. I'm sorry, right there. I had an apartment, and right here in Gowanda. Remember when he said, "Hey, we're in Gowanda"? Well, that's where we were. And that part where he's going down the highway and the people are yelling at him, right? "You're going the wrong way." How do they know where we're going? "You're going to kill someone." It's like, yeah. If only they had movies back then and they could have known, some real teachings of Jesus. Maybe they would have realized that they had the power within them, because the Son of Man has authority to forgive on earth because we're in the earth. Okay? You have the authority to forgive. Otherwise, the Lord's Prayer couldn't be true. Forgive us our sins as we forgive. Now, me forgiving and God forgiving, let people worry about them when they get there. But as far as you are concerned, it's simple. It's live at peace with all men. There are so many tiny little things that we just don't listen to. And I'm sorry, but to me, they build up like bricks, like a stack of rocks, that the rocks are crying out. If I had to, oh man, I would just hate it if I was the one who would have to deal justice on you or anybody for the things that we do wrong. It would be terrible to be God in this place. I wouldn't want it. No way. You'd have to, see, from a human standpoint, I can't conceive. Well, I can, because the Spirit moves like a fire, right? You get a few people. Look what happened at the West, whatever that place was, right? Until they kicked them all out. That doesn't need to happen in a building, okay? That can happen right here online. But that's a problem, see? We have poor spiritual teachings. People believe they have a conscience. That's what they call these, what makes you do what you do. It's not. You got two different angels, I guess. And again, the first thing I want to do, if I could do a mass experiment, would be to see. Some people have a monologue in their head when they think, right? Like they're looking at something and going, I'm thinking in my head, man, look at that shine on the glass, and there's legs from where I took a drink that are running down now. It's like some people hear that voice. Other people just, I guess, look at it and think it without hearing a voice. That voice in my head isn't like booming. Like I'm not gonna be able to, get into argument mode with the thing. Thank God. Boy, Yes, no, what? Leave alone. You said, what? Hey. I mean, uh, I should go watch some Three Stooges now. Ow, 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 pow. Yeah. I'm really bummed out because, man, my hot dog rolls around and holy kid, that or that's my brother Andrew's kid. I was about to say, oh my kid, that cow's driving. He walked by with his sister yesterday. They were giving me dirty looks, of course. I don't give a shit. When they were walking by, I was like, holy cow, what the hell, man? Yeah, this kid is like just and like I haven't seen him in like a couple years. Maybe I have seen him. I didn't know it was him. Who's that man that moved in down there? Holy cow! Yeah, he just drove by driving a truck. So it's like, I mean, I knew he was close. And wow, his dad's damn cool, man. Let him drive that. Get out. I approve. I remember when I had something that you could call a dad or whatever. He ran an auto shop, and he always made sure that I had a car that I could drive back and forth to school until he got mad and then threw me out of the house, of course. Um, but yeah, I was the one kid in school that would show up with Mazdas, Porsches. Yeah. Uh, Life is good. Still is. See, I got a mark on my forehead. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm one of them people that sighs and groans for the things that are done in the city, which is referring to Jerusalem, which means teaching of peace, not about a bunch of brick and mortar. It's bigger than that. It's talking about the teaching of peace, the word of God, and it being corrupted and being used as a weapon instead of a farming implement for us, right? Hmm. Oh, is that St. Bernard? Holy cow, it is. Ooh, that's a big dog. It's a pretty interesting dog. Is a what do they call it thing? A mastiff. It's crazy. They're huge, right? And I remember one time one of my neighbors had one, and her and her husband, they were joking with each other. We were walking, our little tiny little dog, right? And they had this mastiff, and they're like going to pick up the dog turds with like a garden shovel, right? And so we got our dog, their dog, and our dog is like he wants to meet the other one. The mastiff is just calm, right? And he kind of wants to play, but he's behind them, and I go, man, he's really docile. I don't get it. And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, forget it. As far as protection, he goes, he's afraid of plastic bags. If you crumple a plastic bag, he'll run. I'm like, are you serious? And so that stuck with me, right? And later on, I met somebody with a mastiff, and I said, is he afraid of like crumpling plastic bags by any chance? And you know what? They said yes. And I was like, very interesting. And there's some things are trendy. God is that way. You can figure out what he's doing. It's not that hard. But like bulldogs riding skateboards, go look around on YouTube sometimes. I don't want people to have to watch me. I'm not looking for you guys. I'm looking for pastors and theologians, right? These are the guys who got to know, not you. I got to tell them what they did wrong, so now they can undo. And you're like, wow, you arrogant prick, right? And you'll say the same thing that John Walton said before he probably told his brother Jim Walton and his son a bunch of stuff that I told him. And you'll say, why would God talk to you? And you know what I said? I went, I can't even believe you would say that. Who cares who God talks to? You want him to talk to you? Fine. But don't be writing books about it, dude. This is something people need. How would you feel if you suspected that somebody was taking a gift from you? And I'm not talking me, I'm talking God. The gift from you and robbing it from somebody else to capitalize on it? That's that bar Jesus shit. And you know what it is? Remember when Paul struck him blind? Do you think Paul really struck him blind? It doesn't matter. The point is that guy couldn't see, like literally, probably even the gift that he had. How long was he struck blind for? 7 days, 10 days. Maybe it was 40. I don't know. Maybe you should look it up. What would I look up? Blind? Why not? We'll keep going. And I'm sorry. I know my attitude changes, man. I'm just frustrated. I've wasted damn too much time on this. This is ridiculous. Blind. You want to know how quick anger leaves me? Would you believe I can't even remember what I was looking up? That's my disconnect from anger. Oh my God, I can't get away from it. I just can't. I can't have an angry thought. I can't have a foul thought. I can't have a thought of my own. Like, what I, like, because I know they're not my own. I'd want to like kick somebody's ass right now. The blind, leading the blind. Oh. But I will watch the live stream because I know it was important. It was going to be a good. What the hell? Why was I looking up blind? Shit, who cares? I don't even want to think. I don't care. I give up. You win. You can destroy him. I believe you now. They'll appreciate it. I know. Cursed is the ground for your sake. Wow. I just want to chill. And it is pretty chill here. Look up Gowanda, New York, 14070, United States. You'll know what kind of temperatures I'm dealing with. Is it cold? Feels cold. I'm going to guess. It feels like it's definitely in the 60s. But I would say maybe, probably, I want to say 59 for some reason. 59, 60, right like on that border. Sitting there. Maybe if I drank more wine. I'll be warmer. Oh, what a tragedy, man. What a tragedy. Watch them kill each other with a book. Maybe blind was in here. Was there blind in here? Let me see. Blind. Venetian blinds. They're on sale at Lowe's. Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And I mean, you can even push that back to like, who, if you, okay, remember how I said your father and your mother, or I'm sorry, I say that because the law of God is like the bones, right? The flesh and blood, what Jesus was talking about that gives it life. But if you look at it, the 10 commandments cannot be broken. They can't be broken. Honor thy father and mother. Well, you as a son of man, you have two fathers with regards to that statement. You have Father God or the father of lies. Who's your mother? The Torah, Lady Wisdom, or the harlot? It's like, but either way, the sons always do what they see their fathers doing. So guess what? You have honored your father and mother. Oh, we're in a bad spot, guys. Uh, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Blind. Oh my God, John is just full of blindness there. Everything is blind in John. Criminy. In these lay a multitude. Um, Let me ask you something. What did Abraham become father of? When was he the father? Was it who was the father of the multitude? Was it Abraham? Well, let's see if we can reason it out. Um, I think, and I'll explain why. I think it was Abram that was the father of a multitude because a multitude can't be numbered. Remember the multitude that couldn't be numbered? So that's like a representative chaos. And that's what Abram was.